Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantel and today I'm going to be doing somewhat of a belated video. I apologize for the lateness of this video. My normal recording day got kind of messed up because my dog injured himself and so we had to take him to the vet, and it kind of messed up my recording schedule and editing schedule. So I am late getting to this. He's okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. It just, dogs operate on their own timelines and they don't care about ours. So sometimes my schedule gets a little out of whack, but that's okay. I am recording this on my birthday, so happy birthday to me, I guess. This is my 40th birthday, and I guess for my birthday, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be trying a new kind of thing for me, personally. I've kind of done variations on this before. I used to do a monthly TBR video. I kind of stopped doing that because, in my opinion, for me personally, doing a monthly TBR was just too much, especially for the pace that I am going at right now with my reading and how it's working for me right now. A monthly TBR video is just too much. But I do like doing TBRs. I enjoy them. I just don't think I need to do them every month. So I'm going to try a TBR for, I'm going to try a quarterly TBR. That's what I'm going to be attempting today. And I'm also going to be doing a TBR, a TBR jar, basically. So I have, believe it or not, there's like 60 prompts in here that I just wrote on little pieces of paper. So I'm going to draw some prompts from this glass container that's kind of a jar, but not really a jar. And I'm going to find books to fit those prompts, and I'm going to make that my sort of priority list for the next 3 months. So for October, November, December of 2025, that is going to be my priority list. Because, you know, it's fun. I like doing these things. I like watching these kinds of videos, and so I feel like it might be an interesting thing to try. If it works, I'll probably continue doing this like quarterly-ish. And if it doesn't, I won't do it anymore. That's kind of how this works. So I've decided arbitrarily to pick 10 books based on 10 prompts, because I feel like a list of 10 is a good, round, solid number. I have been averaging 4 to 5 books a month lately, so 10 books for 3 months is very doable for me without being either too easy or too much of a challenge. I feel like 10 books is kind of a good middle ground for a 3-month period. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try this way of doing things, and if I like it, I may keep going with it. Maybe I can switch it up later to do it more of a seasonal thing, right? This is the last quarter of the year, but maybe I want to do a seasonal one where it's like winter, spring, summer, etc. We'll see. So yeah, I did include in this jar the remaining prompts for the R Fantasy Bingo board that I have not yet completed. So I may draw some of those out when I pick. We'll see, because I am running behind on that and I do want to keep up. Probably what I will do is I will try to prioritize books that I already own on my physical TBR. And if I don't have a book on a physical TBR that fits the prompt, or if I don't want to, if I really don't feel like I want to read that one book on my physical TBR, then I'll go to a library book. That's another thing about doing a 3-month TBR as opposed to a 1-month TBR, is that if I have to do library holds for things, it's a little bit more likely that I'll be able to get them in the next 3 months than it would be to get them in the next three 3 weeks or so. So that's also another good thing about doing this for every quarter instead of like a monthly thing. So yeah, we'll see. Again, I'll try to prioritize books that I already have on my physical TBR, but my physical TBR is not enormous. So it may very well be that I have to go to library books for some of these prompts. So all that having been said, let's, I guess, do this thing and we'll try. We'll see how we go. I'm gonna close my eyes here and see if I can get something good on a first go. First prompt is food. I don't know if you can see that. Food on the cover is the first prompt. Okay. I've already forgotten what I did for these prompts. I'll have to go see if I can find something that has food on the cover, or I'll have to pull it off of my library TBR. Okay, I honestly thought for my first pick I was probably going to have to go for a library pick, but I did in fact find one book that has something that I might qualify as food on the cover, and that is my copy of Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. So I have been meaning to read, as with every book that's on my physical TBR, I absolutely have been meaning to read this, and so I absolutely will try to read this in the next 3 months. Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I read, last year I read Go Tell It on the Mountain, his first novel. So I definitely want to continue reading James Baldwin. So yeah, that's the first book on my priority TBR for fourth quarter of 2025. All right, let's pick another one. Come on, big money, no whammies. Does anybody get that? Am I old enough to that I'm the only one who understands that reference? My next prompt is Stranger in a Strange Land. Let's see if I can get that up there in focus for you. That's our fantasy bingo prompt. That one, I'm going to have to look up and see what I even had chosen for that prompt, because I don't remember. So I will check my story graph and see what I have. Okay, double checking. I did stick The Restaurant at the End of the Universe on for this prompt. This is the sequel to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, obviously by Douglas Adams. This is, I think, a good one for this prompt because, of course, our main character in these books, Arthur Dent, is a refugee from Earth who is now stuck traveling the universe because Earth has been destroyed. So it's actually a perfect book for this prompt. And I don't think I've ever read this. I've read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy many times, but I've not read any of the sequels. So this is the second book in the series, so might as well just give it a go. So yeah, that's number 2. All right, let's do a different one now. Okay, this is D6 pick. So again, these are really tiny, so I don't know if you can even see them, but there you go. That's just my shorthand way of saying I'm gonna roll a D6, and whatever number comes up, that's gonna be the number of words in the title of the book that I pick. So I have my trusty gaming dice with me. I think these are very pretty. This is my D6 in this set. So yeah, we'll give it a shot. I rolled a 2. So we gotta have 2 words in the title. I actually think I know exactly what book I'm gonna pick for this. Yeah, the first and immediate option that came to mind for this prompt was Jade City by Fonda Lee, mostly because this has been sitting on my TBR for quite a while, and I do really want to read this. So I feel like this is the perfect opportunity. I've been sort of waiting for the opportunity to give this a shot. So yeah, Jade City it is. This is also, I believe, fulfill one of the prompts in my Our Fantasy Bingo board for the year too. So perfect. Great. So there's my book number 3. Actually doing really good so far. I'm 3 for 3 on books that I already have on my physical TBR, which is excellent. Anything I can do to sort of read down my physical TBR, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So let's do prompt number 4. It's a nice big one. I have here an award winner. So I kept this pretty vague just because there's a lot of different awards out there, and I didn't want to limit myself too much to one particular award or whatever. Jade City would count, I believe. It says, yeah, winner of the World Fantasy Award right there, but we'll see what else I can find here. For once, the permanent stickers on the books that I cannot remove are actually helping me, because I think probably the one that I'll end up doing is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This, of course, won the Orange Prize for Fiction, and so it is a perfect for this prompt. It also, I read Circe earlier this year, I believe in January, in fact, and really liked it a lot, so that's why I purchased Song of Achilles, because I really enjoyed Circe. It was like a 5-star read. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And again, just been kind of waiting for an excuse to pull it off the shelf and give it a read. So that's number 4 for my 10 books to read in the 4th quarter. All right. Let's do prompt number 5. That's 2. Great first sentence is the prompt. So this one I've got to find a book and read the first sentence and decide which one will be the best option for me. Well, let's see. The first sentence of The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin is, "There was a wall." I'm not sure that's a particularly great first sentence. What about The Deep Sky by Yumi Kitase? There's another one I just picked up recently. There were many things Asuka did not consider when she agreed to travel from one sun to another. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let me check a couple others. Let's try Parable of the Sower. I had my recurring dream last night. So far, The Deep Sky is the best of those 3, I would say. Let's try Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. None of these are super impressing me right now. Hala of Rutgers Howe had just inherited a great deal of money and was therefore spending her evening trying to figure out how to kill herself. Okay, this one's the clear winner so far. This one's the clear winner in terms of a good first sentence that's like, ah, yes, I want to do this. Here's The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. Death always visited me in August. That's also an interesting one. But I think Sword Heart is the winner here. I think we're probably going to have to go with Sword Heart. I need to get a T. Kingfisher read this year. So let's do Sword Heart, and we'll call that our number 5 pick for now. All right, let's try for number 6. Lucky number 6? I have no idea. Ah, a debut. Okay. I do think I have a debut novel on my Our Fantasy bingo board for the published in 2025 category that I do not own. I think, let me check. Yeah, so the debut novel that I have on my Our Fantasy bingo board is called The Door on the Sea by Caskey Russell. I believe this is a sort of indigenous quest fantasy. And yeah, it is a debut as far as I'm aware. I will double check the release date. I should be able to read it before the end of the year since it's got a publication date of 2025 on it. But I'll have to check and see if it's available from my library or not. I may have to substitute something else depending on if my library has it or not, but we'll definitely look into that because I do want to read that one. It sounded really interesting to me. It's a debut novel from an author who's a person of color, so I always want to try to support those when I can. So that was number 6. Let's do number 7. A Book in Parts. So this is another Our Fantasy bingo board prompt, and I do know which book I have listed for this prompt. So the book I had for this prompt is another one that I've been meaning to read for a long time. I have no idea how that got there. I don't think it was there when I got it. That's Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. This is a queer, grimdark fantasy based on African history and mythology that I've heard a lot of good things about and would really like to give it a shot because I like all of those things. So yeah, we're gonna try this, and it's in several parts. I believe it's 4 or 5. It's split into 4 or 5 parts. So yeah, we'll read this one. This one's number 7 for our reading list. Just a few more left, and then we'll have our list. So for prompt number 8, let's see what we got. This is an indie published or self-published book. So this is a yearly prompt, I think, on the Our Fantasy bingo board, and I believe the book that I plan to read for this prompt this year is, yeah, it's called Old Time Religion. It's the sequel to Dionysus in Wisconsin, which I read last year by E.H. Lupton. So this is like queer urban fantasy romance set in Wisconsin in the 60s. And so, yeah, I liked the first one, so I'm going to continue with this. It's self-published, so I'll probably do that. I can get it from my library. So that was number 8. Let's see here about number 9. Oop. Trying to only get one at a time. Purple cover, purple on the cover is the prompt for prompt number 9. Let me see what I can find. I honestly do not have any books on my physical TBR right now that I would consider to have purple covers. There is, however, a very popular book going around right now that I do want to read quite a bit that I can get from my library that does have a very purple cover, and that is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. So I'll probably go with that one. All right, so for the last prompt, just the last one, let's make it a good one. Not 2, just 1. Oh my gosh. Let me try that again. Last prompt, just the 1. Don't need more than 1. An alphabet pick, aka random letter generator. Let's do a random letter generator. It generated T, which that seems like it's almost too easy. But let me go pick a book that starts with letter T. I'll try to avoid a book that just starts with the, but I may have to just go with a book that starts with the. We'll see. Unfortunately, the random letter generator forced me to pick a book that starts with the, because all of the books I own, with titles that begin with the letter T are because they start with the. So I have a number of options, but it does feel like cheating a little bit to go with a book that starts with the. Nonetheless, I think, right now, I think I'm probably going to go with The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin, because this is just, I want to get back to Ursula Le Guin. It's been a while, and I want to continue reading the Hamish cycle, and I just need more books that are standalones and not like the start of a series. So, because I already have a couple on my pile that are the start of a series, or a continuation of a series. So, yeah, we're going to go with The Dispossessed, and that will be our 10 books. So yeah, just to go through again the 10 books that I have chosen via the TBR jar for the next quarter, October, November, December of 2025. We have Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This was for the prompt Food on the Cover. And then we have The Restaurant at the End of the Universe by Douglas Adams. This is for the Our Fantasy bingo prompt, Stranger in a Strange Land. Well, for the dice roll prompt, which was 2, so I had to have a title with 2 words in it. I'm choosing Jade City by Fonda Lee. For the Great First Sentence prompt, I'm going with Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. For the award winner prompt, I'm going with The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. For the debut prompt, I am tentatively going with The Door on the Sea by Caskey Russell. For the self-published or indie-published prompt, I'm going with Old Time Religion by E.H. Lupton. For the purple cover prompt, I'm going with The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. For the book in parts prompt, I'm going with Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. And for the random letter generator prompt, which gave me T, I'm going with The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. So that's 10 books. Obviously, I'm not forcing myself to read all 10 books if I don't feel like it. And I'll almost certainly be reading more than those 10 books. Obviously, I'm intending to start my, sort of fantasy genre reading project thing in October. So I'll certainly be reading some Victorian fantasy books for Victober. Almost certainly some George MacDonald and probably some Lewis Carroll. And we'll see where we go from there. But I like this list of 10 books to be like, okay, these are the 10 that I'm going to really sort of focus on and think about for the next 3 months. And we'll see how we go with them and how I like them. Obviously, I hope I enjoy all of them. I probably will. I'm pretty easygoing with my reading. So yeah, let me know how you enjoyed this, if this is something you want to see me continue to do. I have fun with doing prompts and figuring out what to read for prompts. I think it's a fun time. So I feel like this will be good for me going forward, assuming that I can then actually stick with it and actually get most or all of these titles read in that time period. Assuming that works for me, I'll probably keep doing this, but also if you enjoy it, let me know, and, that's always also very good to know. So yeah, that's all I've got for today, and leave a comment if you want to, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more book content from me, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.